Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, your niche navigator, coming to you. We are a few days before Christmas, and this is an amazing time to catch up with friends and family. And I'm sure everybody is in a hustle and bustle getting ready for Christmas, which is on Friday, yes?
Yes.
Yes. And so I want to welcome you to what seems to be our last podcast, last vlog for season 3 in 2020. And my friend Regeline Sabbat is going to be the person to close us off for the year. Hi, Regeline. Welcome to our show.
Hi, Munira. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
You are most welcome. As most of you know, we talk about niches and how our niches, how we found our niches and how we are impacting other people's lives with our niches. And we want to hear everything about that. As the niche navigator, I help people find their niches if they are unclear. And as we stand on the threshold of 2021, we want that year to be a life-changing year, which was supposed to be this year. And it has changed many, many lives. But we always want to strive and look positive. So if you're here, we welcome you. And without further ado, hi, Regeline, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So essentially, I'm a first-generation Haitian American. And I'll backtrack and I'll tell you this. My parents came to this country around 35 years ago, and my parents instilled in my brothers and I the importance of obtaining an education. So I did. I attended the University of Central Florida in Orlando, obtained my BA in political science, pre-law, and sociology. During my undergrad studies, I interned for Senator Rubio, and then I pursued a degree in law. And while in law school, I became the SBA president, the Student Bar Association president, which means I oversaw all the organizations in the law school. But here's the thing. Little did I know that I was being abused at home. So I got the shock of my life when I almost lost my life. Death by strangulation would have been what it would have been brutal. And I'll never forget, I had just finished studying and I was on the phone call with a colleague from SBA on the couch. And I was on the phone call and the abuser charged at me, I'll never forget, and almost strangled me to death. And I'm so grateful to be here because I spoke with the domestic violence advocates after that, and they said, because I fell flat like a vegetable, they said, that's because you lost oxygen to the brain. So I'm truly grateful to be here.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So such an accomplishment, right? I know first generation immigrants always instill that value in their children because they want the children to have the best. I am an immigrant too, and I did the same to my kids, and I pushed them and I said, you will not ask me if you should get a bachelor's degree. You will go get a degree and that degree is mine. Whatever you do after that is yours. So for a long time, I had framed those degrees on my wall. So I know exactly what your parents did with you because my son usually tells the story of my mom never gave us a choice. If we needed to go to college, she made it clear we will go to college. so so tell us what you do now.
Yes, of course. So now I'm a motivational speaker, life coach, best-selling author, and I love what I do in regards to helping my clients achieve their goals and experiencing massive life transformation and growth spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally. And I'm also a podcast host, and you were a guest on my show, Walk With Me.
Yes, that was an awesome series. Yeah, and I love the fact that you are forging ahead with the fact. So let me ask you this. Have you completed your law degree? Are you a practicing lawyer?
So essentially, I will be finishing up my last year next year, 2021. It's going to be an exciting year. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be your typical attorney in the law firm because I have my own company. So essentially, I'll be providing legal advice. That's just another hat that I wear. I wear many hats, as you can tell. I'm also a financial expert. So I do comprehensive financial planning for my clients. So essentially, that's something that I'll add on is just the legal advice.
Okay, so you done all the law stuff. You're a motivational speaker, forging ahead, helping women to stand up against uh, abuse of any kind. And I know if it's one kind of abuse, you become passionate about any kind of abuse. So you are going to help all of these people. And I'm not saying just women. I'm saying all people, right? Am I correct in that?
That's right, because abuse happens to women and men. And I found an issue in society is that we're not discussing it enough how it happens to both man and woman. So essentially, I held the global virtual panel of domestic violence survivors, and it included both men and women. But we also focus on the different aspects that are connected with domestic violence because too often individuals just focus on the physical aspect, but they forget that it's also emotional, financial, and so much more. And then they also forget to mention the PTSD aspect. So that's something that we covered.
So, Regeline, is it okay if I ask you, you talked to your SBA counselor, she said you felt you were abused because you lost oxygen into your head. How did you overcome that? How do you find strength to go on?
So essentially, I'll backtrack a little bit and I'll remind you here that I was on the phone call with a colleague from SBA. They're not the ones who advised me on anything for domestic violence. After everything happened, that's when the domestic violence advocate advised me that it's because I lost oxygen to the brain after the abuser had strangled me. So it's three different people here that we were discussing.
Right. So,
Yes.
I mean, after, sorry, my apologies, but after the fact, right, you have felt the abuse, and it's not like this was the first time, right?
Well,
You
great.
began to recognize it once that was the major flaw.
Well, here's the thing. You asked a great question. So it did happen twice before then. I had felt it in my gut feeling, and I had recollection of it just a tad bit. So I spoke to the domestic violence advocates about that as well. They said the two times that you believe that it happened, it did happen. Essentially, the third time that when I saw the abuser charging at me, I had put my neck down like this. They said, had I not done that, I would not be here before you today. So it was the gut instincts and the recollection that I had remembered that saved my life.
But it also gears your body into defense mode, right? Because now you have to fight off this attacker at you. But after all this has happened and you've spoken and you've recognized all this happened, how do you overcome that to become where you are today? To become that spokeswoman who are going to be the voice of people who pretend and close their mouths and pretend they haven't seen it, because there are many women out there, and I was one of them a long time ago, but there are many women out there who are abused, and they pray and they wish for the abuse to stop. And I'm not talking about just physical, but there's also emotionally abused women out there, sexually, even in a marriage, sexually abused women out there. So how do you figure out from where you were to where you are today? What made that jump for you?
Yes, great question. But I'll point out first that you mentioned that I had fought back. I couldn't even fight back because again, I fell flat like a vegetable after I was strangled. And now we know it's because I lost oxygen to the brain. But then you asked a great question now in regards to how I was able to transform my life. Essentially, after everything happened, I was baptized as an adult. I was already baptized as a child, but again, I did it as an adult. And then also too, I dove deep into the Bible. And essentially, when we read the Bible, God is speaking to us. That's a relationship that we're building with him when we're reading his word. So really my relationship with God grew tremendously. Hence my second book titled God First that released this year as well. The first book is titled Walk With Me, which you see behind me here. So it's all a sequence, Walk With Me, God First, because essentially I want to raise awareness in regards to the importance of having God first place in our lives. And I want to raise awareness that we wouldn't have all the issues that we have in society if people were to understand the importance of having God first place in their lives. So that's the answer. God
No,
first.
that's the thing, right? Because as you know, I'm not sure if you know, but I'm very open about this now because I found the strength to talk about it. But my husband passed away because of, on complications in January. And people tell me, how do you just jump back into work? I've met people who've been paralyzed for years and years since their husband have passed. And I have told people that, grief happens. And one thing you have to learn is I found solace by reading the Holy Book. And that was it. It was my go-to, my out, if you will, because there's things in your head that just doesn't make sense. But those words really, really calmed me. It helped me a lot. So I understand totally that when you decide to read the Bible or any book, a spiritual book that puts you one with your creator, because that word allows you to find focus. It allows you to clear your mind from the clutter, right?
That's right.
So why did you then, I mean, there are many, many women who overcome abuse, but they never become advocates. Why did you decide to become an advocate for women and men in this situation?
To be the voice for the voiceless. And here's the thing, we can make our plans, but God knows the plans he has for us as it's stated in the Bible. And again, you can see my life was very different before. I was a speaker on a different platform for the law school, but I feel as though God woke me up in a different light. And now he has given me this new platform, and I call it a spiritual platform because he has given it to me. And I truly believe that this is my purpose. This is the purpose, to serve his people on this new spiritual platform he has given me.
That's awesome. I like that. The voice, being a voice for the voiceless. And I really like that. So do you give advice to people who are going through this situation, but are kind of aware of this situation, but don't have the voice to speak out or the courage? What do you tell those people?
Of course. So my thing is not to overstep any boundaries in regards to the foundations that are already in place or organizations that are already in place to help those individuals. But what I am doing is I'm raising awareness in regards to domestic violence and the fact that it does occur, and we're doing it, the education aspect of domestic violence and teaching people about what it is, so that if we can intervention for positive prevention, correct? So if we can intervene and educate others about what domestic violence is, we can see the rate reduce tremendously in regards to domestic violence even occurring. Because it's not even taught that, sometimes physical or emotional, it's not taught. So if others maybe even knew about that as well, they would end that. And but then too, it's a recovery, it's a healing for those who have been through it as well, to speak out about what happened to them. And then also, if someone who's been through that has hears the survivors as well, they too can know, okay, I can find purpose in my life. It is possible for me to recover from this, because I know after everything that I had went through, it was a full recovery that I went into.
You bring a good point. Bring a good point, because when I look back at my life, I got out of that situation, and then it became very apparent as to I was lost in the weeds and I didn't have a purpose. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had my kids, for thank God for that, and that became my purpose. That was my beacon of light, which helped me keep going. Otherwise, you never know where you end up, right? And you are such a, like I say, the lighthouse that helps people find their path in life and not crash into the shores and the rocks in the sea, because we are all taking a voyage somewhere. What advice do you give women that are going through this? Yeah, I know you're going to teach them something. So give me 3 points that you would want to leave our listeners with.
Yes. So essentially, I mentioned it in my book, Walk With Me, that to never give up. I want individuals to understand that importance, that no matter what happens to you, you must get back up. Because again, you cannot blame yourself for what happens to you. Too often we see individuals blaming themselves after something happens to them. And what happens? They go into depression, they have anxiety, or they live in fear. The Bible says the only person you shall fear is God. And here's the thing, you must also have not only just a positive mindset, but you must also have a resilient mindset. You must be able to bounce back no matter what challenges occur in your life, and stay focused no matter what. So my 3 things: never give up, have a resilient mindset, maintain a resilient mindset, and also to stay focused.
Okay, let me ask you this. You say maintain a resilient mindset. How does one do that?
That's right. And so that's what my trainings are focused on. So I'm a keynote speaker. And when I speak, that's the main focus that I focus on is the resilient mindset. And I help people understand how to maintain it. So essentially, I'll just give you a tip here that you must be able to transition from a negative mindset to a positive mindset within 3 to 5 seconds, because you have a 3 to 5 second window to make a decision. Are you going to be in negative or are you going to be positive? So 3 to 5 second window.
That's it? 3 to 5 seconds, that's it?
That's right. That's right. 3 to 5 seconds.
Okay, so those people who stay in the negative mindset will then not come out of it?
Well, essentially, it would take time. Again, people see or read something of motivation. Like, let's say, for example, I have a paper here and I read something positive and it might change their mood for 1 minute, but it only lasts for a tad bit. You have to be able to understand that you have to have control of your mindset. Otherwise, you let outside circumstances define you or determine what your mood is.
Wow,
Without even
that's very interesting. Thank you for teaching me something.
You're
And
welcome.
then you said bounce back, right? So women who feel dejected, people, my apologies, people who have been abused, people who feel dejected, people who don't know how to stand up. Again, it's like, life keeps throwing these blows at them. And I know, you know, that that image of Muhammad Ali and Rocky just flashed in my head. So because you keep getting hit, what do you do? What do you tell people like that? You just said get up and keep going. What if somebody is completely broken? How do they keep going?
What does Rocky say? It's a mean and nasty place. It doesn't matter how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees permanently if you let it. Right? But
Yes,
you have to be able to take the hits. You have to be willing to take the hits. And that's exactly what Rocky said. And it's true. No matter how many times you get hit, you have to be able to bounce back. But I tell you now, you have to be able to bounce back quickly, because again, too often people get hit and they get hit so randomly, they don't even see it coming. But what happens is they start saying, oh, why me? Why did this happen to me? Or they do the blame game. It's so many different aspects that they do to themselves to keep themselves down. But I'm here to tell you, you have to be able to bounce back. And when you bounce back, you stay back up no matter what.
great advice. Thank you, Regeline. That is important. So, ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, things happen, life happens. Take that 5 minute 5 second break. I'm going to say five because, but grief happens and you have to take time to grieve. But you have to be resilient, get up again, like Regeline says, because you have to keep a positive mind. And in doing so, you have to stand back up to take the blows. Now, blows are not bad, because if you take enough blows, then you come out a winner. We all have seen this with Muhammad Ali. We've all seen this with Rocky. We've all seen this with Regeline. And there are many, many women out there who have proven that abuse happens and there is a way to get out. And if you need help, reach out to Regeline because she's an expert in this. Regeline, how do people find you?
Yes, they can find me on my website, Life Service Center of America, LLC.com. They'll get a free sample of my book, Walk With Me. And also tune into the podcast, subscribe, Walk With Me. I'm bringing guests from all over the world, such as Munira, who are amazing leaders, and also to help you find your purpose and to walk with purpose and to get unstuck so you can experience massive life transformation and growth spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally.
I love it. I love it. And the fact is that, she's not only teaching you how to stand up, she's also teaching you how to take the steps to find your purpose, and with some money in your hand, because if you have to be savvy. There are so many people out there who don't know how to be money savvy. And this is one thing that you want to learn from Regeline, because there's people who have money, who don't know how to save money, who don't know how to invest is the word, I think. But
That's
invest not in stock market, but invest in such a way where you have money in abundance, not that you are always living in a scarcity mindset.
And I'll tell you what the issue is, Munira. A lot of folks, they want to reach financial freedom, but they don't understand in order to obtain financial freedom, you must first obtain financial security. And then I also do a training in regards to how to do that as well.
Okay, so another point, right? This is like an onion that she's uncovering, because it's not only financial freedom, it's financial security. And that's the thing, is like some people turn a dollar into a diamond. Some people take that same diamond and turn it into a dollar, but which way you want to go is the best way. So reach out to Regeline. Tell me your website again.
Life Service Center of America, LLC.com.
Or just get her book, start from there, and she has contact information in her book, and I've read the book. It's good. So it's available on Kindle, yes?
Yes, it's on Amazon. And then God First has just released as well. So it's on Amazon.
There you go. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for a different way to look into, I told you in the beginning, we are at the threshold of 2 years. We're in the holiday season. If you're still looking for a gift, buy somebody a book, because these books can open up mindsets of people. And you never know, one book can change somebody's life. So the gift of knowledge is a big thing. So look up Regeline. And if you're looking for a purpose, you find any coach out there, including myself, because we are here to help you succeed in life. Thank you, Regeline. Thank you so much for tuning in. This may be our last show. I'm not sure, but this could be our last show. But either way, we are walking into the holiday season. I wish all of you a happy, Merry Christmas and holiday season. And if we don't see you next week, we'll see you into next year. And we have a very fantastic lineup already. And if you like this channel, please share, like, subscribe, and tell your people about it, because we are here to find your niche, find your purpose, and help you do the same. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group.